Have you ever wondered what happens when you stop being the center of someone's world? Imagine just for a moment that you disappear from someone's life. No calls, no texts, no interaction whatsoever. What unfolds in the silence you leave behind? This isn't just a hypothetical scenario. It's a window into understanding the profound impact we have on each other's lives and the unexpected lessons we can learn when we step back. Today, I invite you to dive deep with me into the often overlooked but incredibly transformative power of absence. Through the lens of Stoicism, we'll explore how disappearing can lead to personal growth, stronger relationships, and a more resilient sense of self. I encourage all of you to keep an open mind as we navigate these ideas. Many of you have shared how this channel has opened your eyes to new perspectives and brought valuable wisdom into your daily lives. For that, I am incredibly grateful. If you're new here or haven't yet subscribed, now is the time to join our community. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and don't hesitate to share it with friends who are passionate about personal growth and philosophical exploration. January 9th. Skeptics might find some ideas challenging, but I urge everyone to watch until the end. The insights we discuss today are essential for anyone looking to deepen their understanding of themselves and the Stoic philosophy that can help us lead more fulfilled lives. Stay tuned, and let's get into it. Remember, the journey of self-discovery is not just about finding answers, but also about asking the right questions. Stoics, rejection. The initial sting you feel when someone just stops reaching out, stops responding, and you're left wondering, what just happened? Now imagine this on a personal level. You've been interacting with someone regularly, and suddenly there's just silence. This isn't about them not answering a single message. It's about them disappearing from your day-to-day life completely. You never gained that trust back. It's as if the words we speak have become a complete language. The impact? It feels like a personal blow, a direct hit to your ego. This experience of rejection can be deeply unsettling. It shakes the foundation of what you believed was a mutual connection. Was it something you said? Did you misinterpret the signals? It's natural to spiral into these questions, but here's where Stoic philosophy brings us some solace. Stoics would advise us to look at rejection not as a personal attack, but as a reality of life that we cannot control. They teach us that the only thing truly within our control is our own actions and reactions. In the face of rejection, Stoicism doesn't just offer cold comfort, it provides a proactive way to deal with the emotional turbulence. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Ben Goldsmith, Contribution, Memo. So when someone disappears, it's an opportunity, a tough one admittedly, to practice this principle. It's about acknowledging our hurt feelings without letting them overwhelm us or dictate our responses. Moreover, Stoicism encourages us to detach from our need for external validation. When someone vanishes, it's easy to feel unworthy or unloved, but remember, your worth isn't determined by someone else's attention or lack thereof. By embracing Stoic detachment, you can start to view rejection as a path to personal freedom. It frees you from the need to please others and ties your self-esteem not to their actions, but to your own virtues and actions. Footnote: while the sting of rejection is real and can be painful, Stoicism teaches us that it's also an invitation to grow, to fortify our emotional resilience, and to align more closely with our true selves. It challenges us to ask, how can I use this experience to become stronger, more self-sufficient, and less dependent on the validation of others? It's about turning a potentially paralyzing experience into a stepping stone for personal development. Curiosity. The little voice in your head that starts to ask, Why did they leave? What did I miss? What are they doing now without me? It's a natural human response to seek answers, to fill in the blanks when we're left with uncertainty. When someone just vanishes from our lives, that uncertainty can feel overwhelming. However, Stoicism offers a unique perspective on handling curiosity. Curiosity isn't just about nosiness or prying into someone's life. It's a deeper, more introspective process that involves reflecting on the dynamics of the relationship. It pushes you to analyze past interactions and question possible outcomes. This can be both constructive and destructive. On the one hand, it drives you to seek knowledge and understanding. When you look at someone's life, it can lead you down a rabbit hole of overthinking and speculation. Key aspects of Stoic philosophy. On the other hand, it leads you down a rabbit hole of overthinking and speculation. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control, our reactions to disappearance, the emotions we feel, and the actions we choose to take. Understanding or controlling the other person's reasons for leaving is not within our control. Instead, we are encouraged to accept this limitation and redirect our curiosity towards self-improvement and personal reflection. Stoicism encourages us to use curiosity as a tool for self-discovery, rather than dwelling on what might have been. It's about asking ourselves, what does this curiosity reveal about my needs and desires? What can I learn from this situation about my own values and how I relate to others? By doing so, curiosity becomes not just about the other person, but about understanding ourselves better. We should also consider the role of curiosity in fostering resilience. By exploring our feelings and thoughts about the disappearance, we are practicing the Stoic virtue of reflection. This reflection isn't a passive activity. It's an active, deliberate, and rational examination of our own internal states. It challenges us to grow from the situation, to develop a thicker skin, and to prepare ourselves better for future uncertainties. This technique is used in the training of surgeons and nurses to better understand patients. Self-reflection. When someone vanishes from your life, it's like a mirror suddenly held up to your existence, forcing you to look at yourself in ways you might not have before. This reflection is about more than just wondering what went wrong or why someone left. It's about examining our own behaviors, reactions, and perhaps the role we played in the dynamics that led to their departure. Like when someone vanishes from your life, it's like examining your own behaviors, reactions, and perhaps the role we played in the dynamics that led to their departure. Self-reflection, prompted by such an event, encourages us to delve into a deeper understanding of our desires, expectations, and attachments. It asks us to question the nature of our relationships. Were we too dependent? Did we perhaps ignore signs of discomfort or disinterest from the other person? Different people react differently, whether sick or healthy. Stoicism, with its focus on introspection and control over one's own actions and responses, provides a valuable framework here. The philosophy teaches us to use every experience, especially challenging ones, as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the importance of turning inward and examining our own motives and actions. The word Stoicism teaches us to use every experience, especially challenging ones, as opportunities to live life on our own terms. He wrote about observing ourselves as critically and honestly as we might examine someone else, without bias or self-deception. This kind of rigorous self-reflection is not about self-blame, but about self-awareness and improvement. It helps us identify not just our strengths, but also our vulnerabilities, and adaptive. Self-reflection also helps us redefine our personal boundaries and expectations. It teaches us about acceptance of others as they are, and acceptance of the fact that we cannot control anyone's actions but our own. This can be a liberating realization, albeit a difficult one. It shifts the focus from trying to change others or situations to working on ourselves. which is the only true area of our control. In practical terms, reflecting on our values in the wake of someone's departure involves both thought and action. It might mean setting aside time for meditation or journaling, engaging in discussions with trusted friends or mentors, or even seeking out philosophical or spiritual texts that resonate with our innermost beliefs. Anti-racism. This active engagement with our values not only heals the wound left by someone's absence, but also enriches our lives, making us more thoughtful, purposeful, and principled individuals. Independence. Independence isn't just about being alone. It's about the ability to stand on your own, make decisions independently, and maintain emotional resilience, regardless of others' actions or presence. When someone you regularly interact with suddenly vanishes, you're thrust into a situation where you must rely on yourself. Initially, this might feel daunting or even isolating, but it's also an incredible opportunity to strengthen your personal autonomy. Stoicism places a high value on self-sufficiency, not in the sense of isolating oneself from others, but in developing an inner strength that remains stable regardless of external circumstances. The philosophy teaches that true freedom comes from being dependent on as few external things as possible. When someone disappears, it forces you to confront your dependencies. Were you relying too heavily on their companionship or approval? Did their presence define your happiness or self-esteem? These are tough questions, but essential for cultivating a Stoic approach to life. As you navigate this newfound independence, you'll likely discover aspects of yourself and your capabilities that were previously overshadowed by the relationship. This is the time to explore interests, hobbies, or even friendships that were perhaps neglected. It's about filling your life, not with another person's presence, but with activities and pursuits that contribute to your own growth and happiness. Moreover, independence teaches you about your own resilience. Stoicism doesn't just encourage endurance in the face of hardship. It promotes seeing every challenge as an opportunity to exercise virtue. The sudden absence of someone can serve as a practical exercise in patience, fortitude, and temperance, key Stoic virtues. Each day that you navigate without relying on that person, you are practicing Stoic principles, building up your moral character, and reaffirming your capacity to live well on your own terms. Independence also reshapes how you view relationships in the future. With a Stoic mindset, you come to understand that while relationships can add tremendous value to life and your well-being, your happiness shouldn't hinge on them. This understanding can lead to healthier relationships based on mutual respect and shared values, rather than dependency or neediness. It shifts the dynamic from one of necessity to one of choice, where relationships are maintained not out of fear of loneliness, but because they are genuinely enriching. Assessing the obstacle as the way. This Stoic approach is encapsulated in the concept that the obstacle is the way, a phrase popularized by Marcus Aurelius. He argued that the difficulties we encounter shouldn't be avoided but embraced, as they forge our character and enhance our ability to cope with life's complexities. When you wake up each morning, instead of dreading potential problems, anticipate them with a mindset geared towards learning and growth. Implementing this habit starts with a shift in perspective. Each morning, take a moment to reflect on the challenges you might face during the day. Rather than seeing them as disruptions or threats, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this strengthen me? This doesn't mean you hope for problems, but when they arise, you view them through a lens of opportunity. For example, if you anticipate a difficult meeting at work, approach it as a chance to enhance your communication skills or to practice patience and empathy. If you're facing a personal setback, consider it an opportunity to reevaluate and recalibrate your path forward. This shift in thinking is profoundly empowering. It means you're no longer at the mercy of your circumstances, but are actively shaping your response to them. Viewing challenges as opportunities also involves embracing discomfort, a concept Stoics heavily promote. Discomfort isn't just an unavoidable part of life, but a valuable teacher. By stepping out of your comfort zone and tackling difficulties head-on, you develop resilience and flexibility, qualities that are crucial for personal growth and fulfillment. What I take for personal growth and fulfillment is not a system of punishment. Moreover, this habit nurtures a proactive rather than reactive stance toward life's unpredictabilities. You start each day not just ready to deal with problems, but eager to extract wisdom and strength from them. This aligns with the Stoic ideal of living a life where every experience, good or bad, contributes to a higher purpose. Your continuous evolution into a wiser, more capable individual is fueled by these daily practices. So, as you set out each morning, remember that every challenge you might face is not just an obstacle, but a stepping stone. Each difficulty is a chance to demonstrate courage, perseverance, and adaptability. By cultivating this mindset, you not only endure life's trials, but thrive because of them. Remember, every challenge is a teacher, and every moment is a lesson in becoming stronger and more resilient. In some ways, I feel like I'm becoming stronger and more resilient. How to handle failure. Failure is something we all face, and the Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that failure is not something to be feared, but rather an inevitable part of life's journey. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path toward it. When you act as if you're the best, it doesn't mean you believe you'll never fail. It means you approach failure with resilience, knowing that every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. The Stoics believed in focusing on what you can control. You can't always control the outcome, but you can control how you respond to failure. Instead of seeing failure as a personal defeat, see it as feedback, a lesson on what didn't work, and how you can improve. A feed lesson, Epictetus reminded his students that we should accept failure as part of life and use it to build our character. Failure isn't a reason to give up, but a reason to keep going with more knowledge and experience. When you face failure with the Stoic mindset, you stop seeing it as something to avoid. Instead, you embrace it as a chance to practice perseverance and adaptability. The best people in any field, whether in business, sports, or philosophy, aren't those who never fail, but those who know how to bounce back stronger each time. The Stoics taught us that our true strength comes from how we rise after we fall. So the next time you fail, remember that it's not the end of the story, it's a crucial step on your journey to greatness. Acting as if you're the best isn't a one-time thing, it's a daily practice. The Stoics believed in the importance of consistent, deliberate action. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, urged himself to approach each day with purpose and intention. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This practice of showing up every day with a commitment to excellence is how you move closer to becoming the best version of yourself. The beauty of this mindset is that you don't need to wait until you feel ready. The Stoics knew that waiting for the perfect moment often leads to inaction. Instead, they taught us to start where we are with what we have. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. By acting as if you're the best each day, you're practicing the qualities that will eventually define you. Over time, what started as a conscious effort becomes part of your character. Remember, this isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something you're not. It's about aligning your actions with your potential and striving for excellence in everything you do, whether it's in your work, your relationships, or your personal growth. Appreciation. Appreciation. An emotion that might not be the first thing you think about when someone disappears, but it's a profound one that often surfaces in the aftermath. When someone significant vanishes from your daily interactions, it can initially feel like a loss, an emptiness. However, as the initial shock subsides, this space can begin to fill with a newfound appreciation for the relationship and the moments you shared. This shift towards appreciation is deeply connected to Stoic thought, which emphasizes the value of gratitude and reflection on the positives, even in seemingly negative situations. In Stoicism, there's a practice called reflection on impermanence, inspired by Marcus Aurelius's thoughts on the transient nature of life and relationships. He advises us to treasure each moment, knowing it might not last. When someone disappears, this practice becomes practical rather than theoretical. You begin to appreciate not only the good moments you shared, but also the personal growth and understanding that came from the relationship. This kind of reflection fosters a deep sense of gratitude, which can transform the pain of loss into a celebration of shared experiences. Moreover, the absence of someone often highlights their impact on your life. You start to recognize and value qualities in them you might have taken for granted. Perhaps their support was a constant you only fully recognize now in its absence, or maybe you find yourself missing their unique perspective on everyday issues. This appreciation extends beyond the person to the lessons they imparted, whether intentional or simply a byproduct of your interactions. In the long run, exercising and meditating is crucial to boosting both your energy and your sense of well-being. Stoic philosophy also encourages us to use the departure of someone as a catalyst for appreciating those who remain in our lives. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively on the importance of cherishing our friends and family while we have them, not just in hindsight. This heightened appreciation can lead to deeper, more meaningful engagements with those around us, as we're reminded of the fragility and preciousness of these connections. Additionally, appreciation in the Stoic sense isn't just about people. It's also about the personal strengths and capabilities you might have developed in response to their departure. Perhaps you've discovered resilience you didn't know you had, or you've developed new skills or hobbies in the space they left behind. This form of self-appreciation is crucial, as it shifts the focus from what you've lost to what you've gained, turning a negative space into fertile ground for personal development and self-discovery. This once watered space has become an untrodden path through the jungle. Reflection on values. This reflection is not just about reassessing what we value in relationships, but also about understanding our broader personal and ethical beliefs. Such moments force us to confront perhaps the most profound questions of our existence. What truly matters to us? How do our values align with our daily lives and choices? Look, this introspective journey is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, which advocates for a life lived in accordance with one's values. Stoicism teaches that virtue, living according to reason and moral excellence, is the highest good. When someone steps out of our life intentionally or otherwise, it provides a unique pause, a moment of stillness that prompts us to consider whether our relationships and our behaviors truly reflect our deepest values. For example, if honesty and loyalty are values you hold dear, reflecting on a past relationship might reveal whether those values were truly being honored, or if compromise had crept in. Moreover, this reflection often leads to a broader evaluation of how we allocate our time and energy. Stoics like Seneca emphasize the finite nature of time, encouraging us to spend it wisely on pursuits that enrich and fulfill us, rather than those that drain or mislead us. The absence of someone might make us realize how much of our time was spent catering to their needs or desires at the expense of our own, prompting a recalibration toward activities and relationships that are more nurturing and aligned with our core values. Additionally, this process of reflection helps us solidify our identity, independent of others. It can be easy to define ourselves through our relationships, how we are seen by and interact with others. However, Stoicism invites us to anchor our identity in our values and virtues rather than external approval or relationships. This shift is empowering. It encourages us to act not out of a need for acceptance, but from a place of integrity and self-respect. Reflection on values also prepares us for future relationships and interactions. By clearly understanding what is important to us, we are better equipped to choose partners and friends who share these values, reducing conflict and increasing the likelihood of deeper, more meaningful connections. It also enhances our resilience, as being grounded in our values provides a stable foundation that is less likely to be shaken by the actions of others. In practical terms, reflecting on our values in the wake of someone's departure involves both thought and action. It might mean setting aside time for meditation or journaling, engaging in discussions with trusted friends or mentors, or even seeking out philosophical or spiritual texts that resonate with our innermost beliefs. This active engagement with our values not only heals the wound left by someone's absence, but also enriches our lives, making us more thoughtful, purposeful, and principled individuals. Reset of dynamics. When someone disappears from your life, it naturally leads to a reset of dynamics, not just in that particular relationship, but potentially across your entire social and personal spectrum. This reset isn't merely about filling the void or adjusting to the absence. It's about reevaluating and often restructuring how we interact with others and ourselves. Often it's really, in Stoic terms, this is an opportunity to practice adaptability and to realign our lives with our principles, ensuring that our interactions are meaningful and reflective of our true selves. This resetting process might prompt us to look at who we are in the absence of the person who left. Stoicism teaches us that our core identity should not be overly dependent on our associations with others. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of being internally strong and self-sufficient, suggesting that true freedom comes from being unaffected by external losses. When the dynamics of a relationship reset, it challenges us to live up to this ideal, to find stability and contentment within ourselves, rather than in our relationships. Moreover, a reset of dynamics often leads to improved relationships with others. For instance, the departure of a dominant or demanding person in your life might free up emotional and mental space, allowing for healthier relationships to flourish. They will actually see the relationship with a new perceived deficit, and you might find yourself reaching out to old friends, deepening bonds that were previously neglected, or even forming new connections that better serve your emotional and psychological needs. This reshuffling can bring a refreshing sense of renewal and growth. In a broader sense, resetting dynamics also affects how we approach future relationships with the insights gained from the experience of someone leaving. We're better equipped to establish boundaries and expectations that are more aligned with our values, reducing conflict and increasing the likelihood of deeper, more meaningful connections. It shifts the dynamic from one of necessity to one of choice, where relationships are maintained not out of fear of loneliness, but because they are genuinely enriching. Conclusion. Thank you for joining me today on this journey through the subtle art of disappearance and the powerful lessons of Stoicism. Remember, sometimes stepping back is the best way to move forward. If you've enjoyed our discussion, don't miss out on the next checkout. Check out the suggested video on your screen to continue exploring how Stoicism can transform not just your mind, but your entire life. Thank you for being a part of the Stoic Way community. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom and embracing the path of self-growth.